Not a single sinner can enter heaven. Period. Now, I know what you're thinking. That sounds intolerant, judgmental, maybe even insane. Because we all have this idea, right? We imagine a giant cosmic scale at the pearly gates. We hope our good deeds outweigh our bad ones. We tell ourselves, look, I'm a good person. I'm not perfect, but I try hard. Surely that's enough. But what if I told you that entire system is a lie? What if the Bible reveals that the standard to get into heaven isn't being a good person, it's being a perfect person? And that's a bar none of us can clear. So today, we are going to break down the single theological reason why sin is an absolute barrier to heaven. And then we're going to reveal the one incredible loophole that changes everything. So why is sin such a catastrophic deal breaker? First, we have to get something straight. Our culture thinks sin is just a list of big mistakes, murder, theft, the really bad stuff. But the biblical definition is infinitely more serious. The Apostle Paul puts it bluntly in Romans 3:23, "For all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God." Notice the word, all. Not some. Not the worst of us. All of us. That puts the most respected person you know in the exact same category as a convicted felon. We are all in the same sinking boat. That phrase, fall short, is everything. Imagine you're trying to long jump across the Grand Canyon. One guy jumps 30 feet. Another guy only jumps 3 feet. From our perspective, the first guy is a world-class athlete. But from the perspective of the other side of the canyon, it doesn't matter. They both missed. They both fell. That's sin. It's not about who was closer to being good. It's the fact that every single one of us has missed God's standard of perfection, His glory. And the consequence is brutal, separation. The prophet Isaiah wrote, "Your iniquities have made a separation between you and your God." This isn't a small rift, it's a chasm. Think of it this way, heaven is a perfectly sterile, pure environment, the home of a perfectly holy God. Revelation 21:27 says nothing impure will ever enter it. Now, imagine trying to enter that sterile place while you're carrying a single particle of a deadly, contagious virus. The very nature of the virus makes your entry impossible. It's not that the place is being mean, it's that its absolute purity cannot coexist with contamination. Sin is that spiritual virus. Even one sin contaminates the whole. This is where it gets really tough to swallow. Our good works cannot fix this. You can't do enough charity to cancel out the virus. In fact, the Bible uses a shocking metaphor. Isaiah 64:6 says that all our righteous acts are like filthy rags. The original Hebrew is graphic, it refers to something profoundly and disgustingly unclean. The point isn't that doing good is bad. The point is that when we try to offer our good deeds as payment for our sin, they are utterly worthless. If this is starting to make sense, and you're feeling the weight of this, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button, because what we talk about next is the most important news you will ever hear. Drop a comment below right now. Have you ever thought of sin this way before? So here's the devastating reality, we've all got the virus. It separates us from a holy God. And our best attempts to cure ourselves are just polluted rags in His eyes. We are powerless to fix this. It seems utterly hopeless. So if the barrier is impossible, if the chasm is too wide, if our goodness isn't good enough, how does anyone make it to heaven? Are we all just doomed? Right here, at the point of maximum despair, the entire narrative of the Bible flips from bad news to shocking, brilliant hope. The problem is laid out, and then God reveals His solution, a solution that has nothing to do with us. Remember Paul, who told us we all fall short? He follows it up immediately with the answer. He says we are justified freely by His grace through the redemption that came by Christ Jesus. Let's break that down, because this is the ultimate hack. Justified is a legal term. It means to be declared righteous. Imagine you're in a courtroom. You are guilty. The evidence is overwhelming. The penalty is death. And just when you're about to be sentenced, the judge slams the gavel and declares you not guilty. Debt paid. You're free. You be stunned. How is that fair? A just judge can't just let the guilty go free. And you'd be right. It would be unjust, unless someone else paid your penalty. That's grace. Grace is getting the mind-blowing gift you did not earn and do not deserve. This grace comes through the redemption that came by Christ Jesus. Jesus, who was literally God in human form, lived the one and only perfect, sinless life. He was the only person in history who didn't miss the mark. He didn't have the virus. Then, on the cross, he willingly took the full punishment for every sin you and I have ever committed. God's perfect justice demanded that sin be punished. And on the cross, it was. God the Father poured out the wrath that we deserved onto his own Son. Jesus paid our fine. He took our death sentence. This is why the Bible hammers this point home in Ephesians 2:8-9, "For it is by grace you have been saved, through faith, and this is not from yourselves, it is the gift of God, not by works, so that no one can boast." Salvation isn't a wage you earn, it's a free gift you receive. If you get a paycheck, you can boast about what you did to earn it. But if someone hands you $1 billion out of nowhere, all you can do is be stunned and say thank you. You can't take credit. Faith is just holding out your empty hands and accepting the gift. It's admitting you are spiritually bankrupt and relying completely on what Jesus did for you. This changes the entire game. Good people don't go to heaven. Forgiven people go to heaven. Heaven will be filled with former sinners who knew they were sick and accepted the cure. So let's bring it all home. We started with a hard truth: no sinner can enter heaven. Why? Because God's holiness and our sin cannot coexist. Our attempts to be good enough are useless. But the story doesn't end there. The central message of all of Christianity is that God didn't leave us stranded. He built the bridge himself. That bridge is Jesus Christ. This means the entry requirement for heaven isn't a scale weighing your good and bad deeds. It's a cross. It's not about what you have done, it's about what he has done for you. So the only question left is, what will you do about it? Will you keep trying to jump the Grand Canyon on your own, hoping you're a good person? Or will you accept the free gift of rescue offered to you through Jesus? This isn't just another YouTube video. This is a question with eternal consequences. I urge you to think about this. Read the Bible verses we talked about for yourself. And if you feel God speaking to you right now, you can take a step of faith by just talking to him. Admit you've missed the mark. Thank him for the unbelievable gift of his Son. And put your trust in Jesus alone to save you. If this was helpful, share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Thanks for watching.